Jesus told the disciples to meet him on a hillside in Galilee. And there he would explain what would happen next. So they came to that hillside. As they continued to climb, they saw Jesus standing at the top. They rushed towards him. Some held back. Some doubted. Hillsides always bring an amazing viewpoint. The higher the climb, the more that you can see of the area below. Some of the disciples doubted. And no wonder the disciples doubted, because not 8 weeks previous to that day, they were on another mountain, overlooking another scene. And Jesus said to them, "What do people say about me? Who do they say that I am?" And they were discussing, there was Elijah, there was John the Baptist. But then Peter came forward and said, "You are the Christ. You are the Son of the living God." And Jesus said to him straight away, "You are Peter. On you I will build my church." And then what happened? Well, he headed for Jerusalem. And only 2 weeks later, he was hanging on a cross. 3 days later, we thought everything was sorted. He was dead. He'd gone. And his message had gone too. And who was the Christ then? Then the women came and said, "Jesus has risen. We've seen him in the garden. And he's told you to go to a mountain. Go to a hillside. And he'll meet you there in Galilee." And here we are. And there he is, standing at the top of this hill. No wonder some of the disciples doubted. Wouldn't anyone doubt? And you know, that's so good that it says in the Bible that some of them doubted. Sometimes we think that having doubts is a sin. Sometimes having doubts, we think that that's a lack of faith. But I don't think there's any harm in questioning what God's asking of us. No harm in looking deeper into what we're being asked to do, what we're being asked to believe. God didn't create us as robots. He created us as human beings in his image. Last week I said that he'd created us, that we were connected internally, that we'd been created to be creative, to be able to think, to be able to understand, to be able to know for ourselves. So doubt is not a negative thing. Doubt is something that leads us to a greater faith and a greater understanding as we look deeper into what God is expecting of us. At the top of that hill, Jesus said to them, "All authority on heaven and on earth has been given to me." And as we look around here and look upon London, whose authority allows each person to live and work and move in this place? All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Now go. Go in my name. Make disciples of all nations, teaching them what I've taught you. Show them the way. Teach them my ways. When Luke records this hillside meeting in Acts 1 he says these words that Jesus said to the disciples: "When the Holy Spirit comes, you will receive power, and you will be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in Judea, in Samaria, and to the ends of the earth." As I walk through the park and survey the landscape, the cityscape of London, it's that power that we need. You will receive power. Power to be my witnesses in Jerusalem, in Judea, in Samaria, and to the rest of the world. And we don't have to do it on our own. On this windy, very busy hillside, I remember the final words that Matthew records in Matthew 28 and verse 20. "Behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age." The promise of power, the promise of his presence. As I was looking over London, over the cityscape, the wind was blowing. The sound of the wind blowing through the trees. The sound of the wind blowing through the city. The wind of the Spirit. The promised presence of Jesus right here with us as we go and make disciples of all nations, starting right where we are. We have sung the power of your love, and it's the power of his love that gives us the strength to rise on the wings of eagles. And as we close today, we will be singing, "I'll go in the strength of the Lord." The task is great. The area is vast. But we will go in the power of the Spirit and the strength of the Lord.